I'm Jeff Sailing. I'm the co-founder and executive director for Startup NV. We're a business incubator, a statewide business incubator, and a nonprofit that helps scalable businesses in Nevada to grow and attract capital at the right time. We've been around for a little over 2 years now. We've had about 400 companies pitch to get into our program. Have had about 45 companies come through the program. And of the companies that have come through, 15 of them have raised just under $40 million, which sounds fantastic, and we're quite proud of that. The issue is we've only had about $100,000 out of that 40 million actually come from investors inside the borders of Nevada. And we're very, very happy that our members have been able to raise the capital that they have and have had the success that they have had. But a healthy startup ecosystem requires local investors. And that's what this AngelNV program that we're putting on is all about. And I've been fortunate to recruit some help in Southern Nevada. Raj, who kind of put this meeting together for us, is helping us out in Southern Nevada, as is Maisha Williams, who you see on the call as well. So Misty and I are going to be talking about the program today. And then hopefully some or all of you will be interested in joining with us and helping us out to put this program on. So what we're trying to address here is that these two myths, that there's not enough good deals locally for investors to invest in, and that the high net worth individuals that are in our community won't be angels, they won't invest. And the third rumor that is that from the founders is that nobody will write checks, and our conference is aiming to overcome those myths. Misty, have any experience to add in from where you come from in San Diego?
Right, and I've done this a few different places, and it's basically the same everywhere. So it's this catch-22 cycle. You don't have enough deals, you don't have enough investors, you can't have one without the other. And from our experience, an angel conference is a way to solve it.
So the way that this angel conference runs is there's two parts to it. There's an entrepreneur or a founder track that starts, in our case, just after Labor Day on September 8th. It runs until December 8th. And during this time, we're having live and online sessions for as many companies as we can accommodate to learn all the things that founders need to do to attract angel investing or early stage investing. At the end of that, they have the opportunity to apply to the angels who will be taught how to do investments. That part of the conference starts just after CES on January 11th. It starts with 2 half days and then transitions to a weekly set of meetings for accredited investors to learn how to be angels and do it effectively, so that they keep doing it and they keep coming back, so that they're investing money in the community and the community is paying them back by creating awesome companies that have exits, and it works miracles in our community in terms of raising wealth, raising effectiveness of our entrepreneurs. And at the end of the 12 weeks that the angels have their courses, they start with 25 or 30 companies, narrow it down to 12, narrow it down to 6. They do due diligence on the 6. At the end of the conference in March, there's an event, a Shark Tank-like event with some dinner and some other nice things going on. And the 6 finalists pitch. And at the end of the evening, the angels who have put together the investment decide who is going to get the investment. And how does that money get accumulated is the angels are asked to contribute $6,000. $5,000 of that goes into a fund that's invested in the winning company. $1,000 essentially pays for the legal setup of the fund and some of the ongoing maintenance of it over the course of the 7 to 10 years that the fund is alive. Now, if things happen the way that they have in other areas, oftentimes more than one of these companies has an investment in it. Misty, maybe you can chime in and tell us a little bit about your experience in San Diego and other places.
Sure. And so let me just share The first angel conference I was a part of was in Oregon for a town of 54,000 people. So it's called the Willamette Conference. It was around for about a decade. And we were able to successfully raise $200,000 a year for that one. San Diego market's much bigger market, 3.5 million people. And then I've also been involved with the one in San Luis Obispo, which is about 200,000 population. So we've demonstrated both in small and large markets that this is possible, and in a place starting fresh that doesn't have any angel investment activity. At least Southern Nevada has quite a bit of history there. And if you look at this, you're talking about somewhere between 25 and 30 events that happen over a 6-month period for one $200,000 investment, which for most of us, that is not a good use of our time and energy. But when you start to look at the transformation that the community makes and using this conference as a way to bring people together, make the ownership of it really broad, it starts to make a big difference. And at least for us, every time that we've done this in San Diego, which is 2 now, we're working on our 3rd one, but we've ended up funding 3 deals each time. So we were able to do 6 deals to the tune of just over $1 million in the last 2 years. But that's really the small potatoes. So what we watched was the investors and the companies that participated and the money they raised in the year after. So from the conference we did March 2019, we've seen $20 million in additional deals between investors who are now more confident and companies who are more deal worthy. And then our last conference, which was during this entire crisis, the COVID crisis, our conference was actually March the 30th. So right after things started to shut down, and we moved to a fully virtual conference. For the 4 of the top 6 companies, they have, the fund invested just over $500,000 in those 3 companies. But those companies have gone on already, those top 4 of the 6 have gone on to raise $3 million since the end of March, which surprised us in dramatic ways. So the $200,000 is a big enough draw to bring good deals out of the woodwork, but it's the small thing that will help your community do much bigger things. Does that make sense, Jeff?
It does. And so this is how we get started. We've got a lot of the former Vegas Valley Angels helping us out in town to put the conference on, along with Misty. And it takes a village, which is why I've invited, Raj and I have invited some of our village mates, if that's a correct word, to this conference to help us put this on. So we're asking for your help to put it on, and there's some value in it for you and for the members of the various communities that this group represents throughout Southern Nevada. I know, Misty, you've done this in Southern California for a long time, so maybe talk about some of these the value proposition for the folks who help out and how they help.
So we do a couple of things for our partners. So one, our ownership, and for AngelNV, like the ownership of AngelNV in this process will be, like, it's got to rest somewhere, but it becomes something that's much more community focused. So there's a place for all of your organizations to step in and play, whether it's coaching companies or helping your investors have a place to land. And so in Southern California, we've got about 20 partners that help with our process. We co-brand and co-promote a whole bunch of things. So we have all of the partners add their logos and share the event information as if it's their own. If you have a pitch conference or any kind of pitch contest, we'll waive the entry fee for the winner. And what we've started to see happen in just about 2.5 years is the other organizations in town will really rally and coach companies that make it into the final lineup. So the top 25, we announce those each time we make a round of cuts. So from the top 25 on, then you've got the support organizations who are really coaching and cheering for the companies that they serve. because to win the San Diego Angel Conference has become a big deal. So if you win AngelNV, the organizations that have helped that company get there get this great exposure. You get all kinds of bragging rights, and you get AngelNV's support to help you promote your own events. So if you're doing trainings or seminars or any kind of activities, you can use this as a place to promote what you're doing as well.
Thanks, Misty. And I think the other important thing to note as we move on is this is going to be professionally promoted. We have the same PR agency that does work for the city of Las Vegas, FFW. If you guys are familiar with them, Melissa Warren is helping us out to get the word out. So those that are affiliated with us are going to have a lot of exposure through our social media, through all of the presentations, the 30-odd events that are going to be done over the course of these 7 months that this is going on, both physically at our location downtown. Zach Miles has also volunteered for a couple of the events to be taking place out at Blackfire, the new place out there near the big furniture store out there, IKEA. So it'll be a combination of events in those two physical places, as well as being all wholly available online as well. Misty, did we cover the information on this slide already, or should we spend a little time here as well?
Well, I guess I could say, like, basically the way it works is you sign on to be a partner, and then initially maybe every couple of weeks, and eventually like every week, you'll get an email and some information from Jeff and the rest of the team at AngelNV about, like, here's what we're trying to promote on social media, and here are the events that are coming up that you can send your members to, or the clients that you serve. You can send people to these events, and then if you have things you'd like to have promoted, you send those over to the team, and they'll get those out in the social media and in the newsletter blast. So I think we've covered everything else on this.
And I think I know various members of the audience here have your own events that you do, and I think it's important to note that while at the end of the entrepreneurial conference, the E-Track as we call it, the companies will have the opportunity to put in an application to the Angels for the $200,000 of investing. And for that application, the normal charge is $149. Anybody that's affiliated with your organizations or who wins a contest or somehow is sponsored by you will be able to waive that application fee for those folks too. So like I said, it takes a community to put this thing on, and this is kind of our schedule here. We're looking for folks to say, yes, I want to help, and we're trying to collect up the partners who want to get engaged with us here over the course of this month and next month. After that, we'll collect your logos, and we'll talk about the social media posts and things like that. We'll actually be active on social media and doing our PR starting from the beginning of July. And hopefully you'll be able to recommend people, founders that want to take part in the entrepreneur track, or high net worth individuals or accredited investors who want to learn how to be angels in the July and August timeframe, and really throughout the entire program, because they don't have to be joined up right from the beginning. It's best if they are, but they don't have to be joined up right from the beginning. And then the program starts, right after Labor Day, the program starts, and there's going to be a lot of events and activities to promote to the degree that your organization wants to be involved with it. Your organizations will be promoted as part of all of this. If you have things that we should be promoting in conjunction with this event that we're running, we want to make sure that we're all helping each other out with our promotions and events and announcements throughout the course of this entire thing. Misty, am I missing anything here?
No, I think you got it.
So like I said, we're looking for folks to help make a difference, help create better quality deal flow, help engage new angel investors in Southern Nevada. We have a lot of people moving into the area from both Southern California and throughout the region who are a little more used to this than perhaps our community is. So finding those folks and getting them engaged is going to be important. And really, I mean, this is about our community, right? We want Southern Nevada, Las Vegas, the whole state of Nevada, to develop a reputation. We already have a reputation as a great place to do business. We don't have a great reputation in terms of being a great startup environment. And this is the way that we start to get that engagement. Those of us like me who have been doing this for their whole careers really took for granted the environments that we grew up in, and we need to have that environment here in Nevada. Thanks to Misty for being willing to come in and help us get this important piece kind of off the ground. And thanks to all of you for being willing to listen to this today, and hopefully after you understand a bit more about it, become involved in us and how it's going to work. Again, I'm going to check in with Misty before I move on to make sure that I haven't left anything out.
No, I think you've covered it. You know, I just say for our investors. So we take this as the approach, like entrepreneurs think that we're serving them. At the end of the day, this is really about training and engaging new investors. So it ends up being, for us, it's a super wonderful way for new investors to build their own network. So our fund manager stood up the first night of our Angel Conference 2 and said, you know, a bunch of nice things, but he finished with, if I was getting married tomorrow, I would choose my wedding party from this room. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like a unexpected, but really valuable relationships, high degree of trust, you know, and we play this to the community benefit. So we're not teaching investors to be sharks. We're teaching them to make good, solid deals that help build community. And so if you're interested in being part of that, we would really love for you to reach out to Jeff or Maggie or Raj. Send your information. It says contract, that's a typo on my part. Send your contact information for whoever does your newsletter or manages your social media to Jeff or Maggie, and then get your collateral over to us. So your logo, your website, like any of those, your social media outlets, so that we can start to work together to bring this cool conference to life. And so now we're open for questions. What questions do you have? What can we answer?
Yeah, and just so you know, you can go onto the website right now. It's live, AngelNV.com. There's a lot more information about the program there, so feel free to poke around in there and ask questions now, or